Welcome to the realm of Millenia. Be ye man, woman, child, a spirit, creature, or a demon. Be ye a native migrator, or maybe even some sort of invader into the realm. Welcome, for I am your host, the MILLENIANmailmen. Here today, bringing you guys and gals yet again another hot take hump day in the name of the Pajama Bottom Boys, right? And this is week 40, Devil's Advocate. Immigration without assimilation is a soft justification for invasion with violent moral retaliations. So says some politician. I assume it was a Republican or a conservative, right? Immigration without assimilation is a soft justification for invasion with violent moral retaliations. Now, this quote comes from, I want to say this sounds a lot like a quote from Randy Fine, a Republican, who is like, pardon me if I get it wrong, Jewish. It should be a Jewish Republican. But I think I can debate the point. Immigration without assimilation is a soft justification for invasion with violent moral retaliation. So, key point of this argument here is that immigration without assimilation, I do believe the main talking point back when this was first being mentioned was that a lot of immigrants aren't assimilating to American culture. They're not actually trying to play ball and play fair. They're just doing things by their own rules. And, well, it seems like everyone who is liberal, live and let love, is letting them just reenact their own sort of moral justice system without actually abiding by the rule of law of the justice system that's already in place for America. Starting with, you should at least try to learn a little bit of English, right? So most of the American immigrants don't know English, and it very easily turns left, right? From people who know how to drive but can't seem to figure out how to drive well with other people, at least with other Americans on the road, with all the car crashes you hear from illegal migrants and whatnot. Immigration, legal or not legal, without assimilation, like, bare minimum, you got to be able to either read or speak English. Otherwise, you are the very reason that it's hard to converse with our migrant folk. You are the whole reason as to why there is some sort of anti-Semitic, anti-neo politic rhetoric of anti-Semitation going around. Like, so long as you're refusing to assimilate, it's hard because you don't see me going to other countries and demanding that they speak English. We only see you coming to my country. You're coming into my home and getting mad that I don't speak your native language. Right? And so, like, can you see the difference here? Can you? Right? No, you don't see the problem with that. That's great. I love that you don't see the problem with that. Actually, that sucks. Because I'm not going to anywhere else on the globe and forcing you to. Although a lot of Americans are known to still act out and act as the stereotypical Karen, regardless of the country they're visiting, as guest. It's like, no, I want to see your manager. That only works in an American Starbucks. Try that in, I don't know, Saudi Arabia. Try that in Dubai. I want to see your manager and see how well that goes for you, madame, monsieur. Uh, that's not going to go over well for you. Immigration without assimilation is just a soft justification for invasion, right? So this first part, immigration without assimilation, namely, I feel like the main talking point around that was, hey, people got to speak English when you come to America and want to stay and build something here. If you want to build something, build it in English cultures, at least in something understandable to an American English speaker. If you just want the benefits of being an American without actually participating in the American culture, and I don't know. Because one of those things that people constantly talk about for American, there's nothing special about America. There's nothing special. Hey, I like to say the number one culture thing, not the food, not necessarily the people, not the animals or even the environment, because there's so many unique environments from coast to coast, right? The one uniquely American thing is English, not American football, English. It is such an American thing, the English language. We even coined it American English. There's regular English, there's Old English, there's New English, there's British English, and then there's American English. We have our own subcategory of English, American English. You have the New York accent, you have a Southern accent, you have a Floridian accent, you have Cali accent, you got Amish accents. It's all American if you're speaking English. If you're speaking English in America, people can kind of tell where or what you are a part of or where you've come from in America. Oh, that's a Texas. Nope, that's not a Texas. That's just a cowboy accent. That's a stereotypical cowboy accent. That's a stereotypical Iowa cowboy accent. Right? There's subsects to it. So speaking English is one of those things, right? So this Republican Jewish person who said that immigration without assimilation, I think one of those main targets in that very first three words there was like, hey, speak English or at least be able to read it. If you can't speak or read English, why are you here? Because it's better than your country? If it's so much better than your country, keep it that way by speaking English, right? Which feels bad because, like, we love our Latino and Latinas. We love our Japanese and other Asian countries, our Vietnamese, our South Korean, our Canadians, our French, our British, our United Nations, and Puerto Ricos, and Dominicans, and Haitians, and our Nigerians, and all our immigrants. We love you guys, right? So it feels bad to just be like, hey, screw your language, speak my language. But at the same time, if you went to their country, you wouldn't be able to get away with that. You wouldn't be able to live long, let alone live well in these other countries if you could not speak their language, right? So it's more of a common courtesy, like, hey, if I went to your country and I wanted to live, let alone live well, I'd have to figure out how the hell to speak your language. We're not mandating that you become fluent in English. We just want you to be able to participate in a conversation in English when you're in English borders, which comes to that second talking point there about invasion. Immigration without assimilation is a soft justification for invasion. I do believe that portion of the quote comes namely from that talking point conversation that, hey, America has borders, and the whole conversation of legal immigrant versus illegal immigrant is about how there's no borders anywhere and no one's illegal on stolen land. Well, guess what? The entire globe has borders, and every war so far on the world scale has been about expanding those borders. So for you to try and just single out the American populace and the American land and be like, hey, we want to be able to come into America and we don't want to be punished for it. I do believe that is like the main aspect of that. It's like, hey, we want to be able to come into America, call ourselves American, get American benefits and everything, but we don't care to respect the borders and respect the policies that divide legal immigrant from illegal immigrant. And on top of that, we're not going to speak your language, right? So I do believe that is like the main thing. That comment about invasion and justification for invasion is all about primarily that border patrol conversation, which may or may not involve ICE. Let's save those problems for a different day. Right? But the justification for invasion, that is a border reference. Immigration without assimilation is self-justification for invasion. Because so long as people don't have to speak English, well, you might as well open the border, because how can you tell if this person is American or not? How can you tell? It's not like we can speak a common language, a common tongue. It's it's not like we can speak a similar language to have a baseline understanding of what the rules of engagement are here, because they speak a different language. They refuse, and they're refusing to assimilate by talking a similar language to us, right? Invasion without assimilation is just self-justification for invasion, right? Part 1, part 2, and part 3, with violent moral retaliation, right? Because this last one is more First Amendment free speech add-on right there, right? Because immigration without assimilation, if you allow people to immigrate without the bare necessity of being able to speak a common language, you are softly allowing for the land of the great Americas to be invaded by people who don't speak the language, who don't care about the American way of life, the American dream. You're opening up all the opportunity for people to come into America, take everything that was great about America, and run off with a musician. Run off for the hills, right? Immigration without assimilation is self-justification for invasion. Like, hey, America's so great, America's so awesome, you don't have to speak English, just come on over. Well, this one's breaking laws. How are we going to punish him? We can't even speak the language. It's going to be more like cruel and unusual punishment, because we basically, in his eyes, we just kidnapped him. In this guy's eyes, we just kidnapped him. He speaks a whole different language. Let's say, for the example, this guy speaks Japanese. I speak exclusively American English, so it's already bastardized English. It's not even proper English, right? I'm speaking a bastardized form of English that you need to already know English to understand. And this Japanese person over here, to him, I just sound like a true monkey, sounding like a booga da boo boo. And he sounds worse than that to me. We can't speak to one another, but I'm the officer and I got a gun, and he has a bike stuck between his tires because he ran over a few people because he can't read our signs. I bet in his eyes, because I yanked him the hell out of his car and he don't speak a lick of English, he's coming off a detox or whatever, and he's drunk and confused, trying to get a hangover, and this big old monkey man that don't speak a language he understands, just yanked him out, threw him in a cell, and now he's in court, and now he's in prison for the rest of eternal life damnation, facing potentially the electric chair. Okay? Because he accidentally killed a few people. Which leads us to point number 3. With violent moral retaliations. This whole scenario, while very curt, It's something that actually happened. Those aren't the actual races of the people, but you can go find that. There wasn't a illegal immigrant from a place that was not America, crossed the borders illegally, without speaking a lick of English, accidentally. They were actually drugged, and they were trying to get home. They were drugged, they were trying to get home, and they incidentally, killed a few people, and they were just trying to get home. But they never assimilated or knew how to speak English. They didn't even know anyone to speak and testify for them that spoke English until they got to court and they had a translator translating for them. They never had anyone. They just were able to make it into America. They never assimilated, and they were just doing things because American dream this, American dream that. But they did acknowledge I was an illegal immigrant, and they already knew they were about to fail that whole court system. They were not going to win this court case, so they just said everything they possibly could. And like, hey, I already know I'm going to lose this, but I'll just let you know I feel like I'm being tortured on a stand in a kangaroo court because there's no way I could possibly win this. I was drugged. It was all an accident. It was not on purpose. But this kangaroo court, I know from the evidence, I know I totally killed people, but it was on accident. I was drugged. Toxicology report does prove the very same. It was not on purpose, but there were too many lives lost for anyone to really care. It's like, well, maybe if you spoke English, we could have cleared this up sooner, but you fought back, and no. Someone's got to pay this price. Someone's got to pay, and it's going to be you. But hey, we'll avenge you by finding the people who drugged you up and everything, but it wasn't the people who drugged you. It was you who ended up killing these people, because while you were trying to drive, get away, and get home, you were in a place you didn't know and you couldn't read the signs. So, I don't know what to tell you. Grand Theft Auto on top of murder. So, immigration without assimilation is a soft justification for invasion with violent moral retaliations. Where in that whole arc of a really real story, there is this whole point that there is the violent moral outrage that comes from the inhumanity of it all when you're trying to buck back against people who don't speak your language, be it literally or figuratively. If people have different values, different goals, different dreams, different ambitions, it's going to naturally feel inhumane how you guys dispute and contradict one another for the sake of your own values. So when you have an invasion without assimilation, and you try, even so much as tried to mesh well with people who refuse to mesh well with you, you are allowing this impossible disconnect. These two north poles of a magnetic field, these two north poles or two south poles, bound to push against each other and repel. You're trying so hard to make it work when it's simply not ever going to happen. It's impossible. Right? So you can try as hard as much as you ever love and want. When you do that, you're going to cause this very violent retaliation, because these like poles are repelling one another. It's like two very stubborn, strong, bullheaded individuals butting heads, where you want to mesh well and they very much do not. So you're like, you want to mesh well and sing Kumbaya, and they're like, no, I very much don't want to mesh well. It's like, no, stop. I'm not meshing with you. Now you're butting heads. And even here in this new example, I want to get along with you, and I really much don't. the more you try to get along with someone who doesn't want to be got along with, you're giving, even in the court of law, you're building a case file that says, hey, leave them alone, stop bothering them. And the more you don't leave them alone and keep bothering them, in the court of law, even in American court of law, you're giving this person who just wants to be left alone all the reason to shoot you in the face. So, immigration without assimilation is grounds and just is a soft way to justify violent retaliations. God forbid, violent moral retaliations against people that actually want to mesh well and get along. When you allow immigration without assimilation, you are allowing for this soft justification of invasion with violent moral retaliation against the people who want to do the right thing. Because that's what would be happening. The people who want to mesh well and get along are suffering at the hands of those who are refusing to assimilate. The ones refusing to take the steps to allow us to come together and sing kumbaya, right? But hey, that's pretty much it there for that. I did have this one note about American English, but I don't need it. I think I did enough of the talking points there. So, hey, that's just me, your Millennium Mailman, or dare say you. That's just me, you're a devil's advocate. Hope you did like what I had to say, or at least how I said it, for this week 40 devil's advocate hot take. If you did, leave a like, comment down in the comment section down below your question, comments, concerns, maybe even some thoughts and opinions, or by all means, reach me at MILLENIANmailmen@gmail.com. I check that email once a week. Share the video for more exposure. Subscribe if you feel like it. And as always, never forget, peace, love, and happiness, and all the best of things to you. Goodbye. No, you son of a fuck.